Welcome to my TNA Slammiversary predictions. This is going to be been a while since I've done a TNA prediction video, but well, of course, it's getting a lot of talk because of its a couple of things. The fact that there's going to be two NXT wrestlers on it, plus a partial return, which, if I remember, I'll talk about that last. Okay, so there are currently 8 matches on this. Actually, take it back there. 5 wrestlers on the card. Sorry, but there are for next year, I should say specifically. Okay, so now let me go back to to the pay per view. There are 8 matches on the card. I'm not sure what's going to be in the pre-show, but usually they have one or two in the pre-show. They may add one going into the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is July 20th, which is this Sunday. Right quickly, if you subscribe to TNA Plus, you get as part of the subscription. And usually that's how I watch TNA is through the TNA Plus. Also, you go through Twitter or you live outside the United States. I'm not sure, to be honest. Might be Twitter as well. But I guess a quick Google search could do that, help you out. So we don't live in the US. So, but let me get to the card. Oh, yeah, also let me go back for a little bit too. But if you live outside the United States, and TNA Plus is available, you'll be able to get on TNA Plus as well. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think you might. If you have it, look at that. But now let me go into the 8 matches that are confirmed right now. So you got a 8-man tag match. You got the Dark Slate. So actually, I guess it's actually 6. It's 8-man. So you got 4 members of Dark Slate who are from NXT. Dion Lennox, Osiris, Griffin, Saquon, Segura, and Cody James. So they're still relatively new to the NXT crowd per se. And then taking on the System, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, JTC, and Matt Cardona, which is kind of weird. That Cardona's part of them, other than the fact that he got attacked by them last week, I guess it was, or maybe 2 weeks. Within the last 2 weeks, he was attacked by Dark State. No one believed him. And JDC that's the former Fandango. Matt Cardona is former Zack Ryder. Brian Myers is the former I want to say Heath Slater. It's not Heath Slater. I can't think of his name. But when he came up, he's basically Matt Cardona's best friend. One of his best friends. He was the other edgehead with Zack Ryder. Man, my mind's going blank on that. But in this match, I'll probably go with Dark State winning this match because I can see at least one TNA team losing, people losing checks. Plus, I think how they're trying to build up Dark State on NXT, they want them to look good and big and stuff. So when it makes sense, especially when you got 4 veterans like Eddie Edwards has been around for over 15 years. So I knew him when he was teaming with Davey Richards as the American Wars. Has something with the name. The tag team was the former tag team champs, former TNA tag team champs as well. In TNA, they went by the name of the Wolves. Matt Cardona and Brian Myers have been wrestling for about 20 years. I think DDC's been around. Well, he was in NXT. He's probably been around for at least 15 years. I think he started before he started NXT. So this would be a good match for for the Dark State to get some experience. See, I'm gonna do the title matches last. That's why I'm screwing down some. So you got Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander. Kind of how they're building this match is kind of going back more of that WWE days, and like I think Cedric Alexander beat him for the cruiserweight title actually too, because like mentioned how Alexander said, "Yeah, you never beat me," and to me, I think not only to me too as well, but a lot of people as well. I should say, surprised that see him in TNA. I think everyone was expecting him to sign with the AEW to be part of the Hurt Syndicate. So I'm not sure if he's signed a full-time contract or if he just signed like a per appearance contract. I think that's what the Hardy Boys are on. I'll get to them in a few minutes. But so he might not be in TNA too long because, well, too long is also relative though. Is also a relative because someone for too long might mean a month, or could mean 6 months. I think a lot of it has to do with how Hurt Business may. If he does go to AEW, depends on MJF and Hurt Syndicate, not Hurt Business. Does I could see him once they turn on MJF, Alexander coming in and being the third man to replace MJF, but that's probably a few months down the road. So he has to do something instead of outside of the independent bookings, of course. But with this one, I think I'm gonna go with Mustafa Ali with the win. Just kind of how they're going with the well now I know if the Dark State one goes. Trying to think, it's like I thought this match was gonna be on Impact, but then realized Mustafa Ali's group they had the match with Dark State. No, not Dark State. They had it with the system. That's what it was. It's like it's too many groups. Sometimes I get confused. Who's who? Okay, now another singles match between Tessa Blanchard and Indy Hartwell. I'm going with Indy Hartwell here with the win. She just got into the TNA and stuff, and like she needs. And I don't think she doesn't need to win. So if she loses, that's the only match I can understand if she loses. But a lot of it has to do with because they've been kind of pointing to her going for the Impact Knockouts Championship at some point. So I don't think losing will hurt her, but winning will, I think, advance to her at some point by Bound for Glory, which is in September or October, that she has a title shot. So I think a win here is needed for her to build momentum to getting a title shot. Let's see, every other match is a title shot. Okay, so I'm going to go with the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship match. You got the champs. So you got the Elegance brand, asked by Elegance and headed by Elegance. Asked by Elegance is the former Dana Brooks. They're taking on the Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay. Basically, Inspiration are the formerly known as the Iconics in WWE. Cassie Lee was Peyton Royce. Jessica McKay was Billie Kay. And the Inspiration are former Knockouts Tag Team Champions. And effectively became the second and third people to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship and the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship. The first one being Zelina Vega, and Chelsea Green's the only other person to win both sets of tag team titles. And I do think that the inspiration is coming back. It's coming back, not coming back, but coming back. They don't have a long term deal, but I think they're going to win it and have it for a short period of time. Um, because yeah, because yeah, that's it. I have nothing else to add. So I do think we're going to see women's tag team champions. See, a singles match for the TNA Exhibition Championship between Moose and Leon Slater. I'm going to go with Moose winning this, and I think Leon Slater is going to turn heel. And I'll explain it in a couple when I get to the tag team title match, but I want to do this one first. I think if this was a multi-man match, I probably would lean a little more to Leon Slater, but I think he's going to turn heel in this match. Because directly from what I saw from on Impact, TNA Impact from the July 17th episode. So let me get to the tag team championship match. It's a 4-way match. The champs are the Nemeth, Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth. Nick Nemeth has been known to people as Dolph Ziggler from WWE. Taking on the Hardys, Jeff and Matt Hardy, and the Vascos, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. Zachary Wentz was Nash Carter, Wesley's tag team partner. Wesley used to be part of the Vascos as well when he was in TNA. And they got First Class, team of AJ Francis, or top dog in WWE, and TC Navarro. Yes, I realize that most of these matches seem like they have former WWE people, and I think almost everyone but the Exhibition Championship has someone that has been in WWE at some point. But in this match, I think there will be a title change. I can see First Class winning it. Now, I said about Leon Slater turning is that the Hardys on Impact on the July 17th edition, so the go home show for Slammiversary. The Hardys said that if they can't win it, they're going to. They didn't say retire, but I'm thinking they're going to leave TNA because they don't have a contract. I'm sure they're at some point going to go back to the WWE, which I'm thinking, and Leon's going to cost them the match. So I don't know if this means like with wrestling, they say things and then it doesn't stick. It's like Ric Flair had said he retired, and then about a year and a half later he was wrestling again in TNA. Mick Foley said that he was going to retire against Triple H in 2000. He had like 3 or 4 matches in WWE, then had matches in TNA as well. So it's like, but I do think Leon Slater will cause them to lose, or he will lose the Exhibition. May not turn then, but during this match, I can see him turning. Where people think he's going to trying to help the Hardys. Then you find out next week that he did it on purpose because like when the First Class and the Nets came down, well, actually it wasn't Nets Brothers, but the First Class came down during Impact, they kind of shoot him away type thing instead of having at least one more person as backup. So like I said, I do think First Class, I can see First Class winning it. If not, it's going to be the Nemeth retaining, but I think, but yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a cop out, but Then you got the two main titles. You got the title vs. title match between Marsha Slamovitz, who's the TNA Knockouts champion, taking on JC Jane, who's the NXT Women's Championship. I believe it's a unification match, supposedly. Yeah, for both matches. Let me see. Yeah, it's for both matches. So it's like, I'm assuming. Okay, now. Okay, this is my thoughts. So it's going to go two ways, depending how exactly they explain. Because, like, okay, they saying title was title. They're unifying the titles. So it's like they're literally unifying the titles. I think it's going to go to a disqualification. Here was going to be disqualification because I can't see. I can't see JC Jane or I can see. Well, let's see this. I can see JC Jane winning if it's a unification match, but at the same time, if they're going to have both guys and they can defend like both of them individually, I can see that happening as well. But if it's an unification match, I would actually go to a DQ ending. People are gonna hate that because I don't. Because I'm trying to think. The only times I've seen unification of two different companies' titles, usually when they buy it, they want to have less titles. Like when WWE bought out WCW in 2001. In December 2001, when Chris Jericho became the Undisputed Champion, he unified the WCW and WWE, or the time WWF Championships. So that's the only way I could see that happening. But I think it's one of two things. Either JC Jane's gonna win it all, or Marcelo's gonna win by disqualification. And I think I'm kind of leaning toward that because of the implications it's going to happen between if it's a true unification match as opposed to both the kind of like what Kenny Omega was, I guess, a few years ago when he was the AEW champion and the Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion. Remember, TNA was going by the name Impact Wrestling for several years. So if they do something like that, I can see that too, because he ended up using, because Kenny Omega and Christian Cage ended up having two matches. One match was with the TNA champion or Impact Wrestling Championship, which Christian Cage won. Then the second match they had, like 10 days later, Kenny Omega won to retain the AEW Championship. So something like that, I can see happening more. It's more likely because on the stipulations it says title for title, but then but I don't see anywhere saying unification type thing. So and then I'm not sure if that match is going to be the main event or if this match is going to be the main event, which is the three-way match for the TNA Championship, where you get defending champion Trick Williams taking on Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. Well, it's taking place in Long Island, at the UBS Arena, home of the New York Islanders of the NHL. And I believe, and the reason I say that is important because Mike Santana is from Queens, New York. Just take the Long Island Railroad from there. So I think Mike Santana is going to win. Oh yeah, maybe remind me that both Matt Cardona and White Myers are both from Long Island as well. Actually, both of them are, but back to this match. I don't see Trick Williams winning, and everyone has been speculating for a while that it looked like that was that he was part of the winner because he won a match to invoke to at some point, kind of like a Money in the Bank type thing, get a title shot, which he did. Which he, I think he kind of got against Trick Williams though when he lost. After Trick Williams beat Joe Hendry, but at the same time, I still think Mike Santana, Mike Santana's going to win this one. And it's kind of how they've been doing the story about talking about the death of his father and how he got sober again and stuff. So it's like I do believe he's going to be the next TNA champion. Now, I mentioned there's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, former TNA X Division Champion, former TNA Tag Team Champion, and one of the TNA originals is going to make, I don't know if it's to wrestle or not, but it's going to make a return. Oh, but it's a one-night thing. But it's going to be a guy named AJ Styles. I was watching an interview that Sean Sapp did with, I think his name is Carlos or Chris. I think it's Carlos. So he's the head of TNA. He took over when Scott D'Amore was let go last year, and Sean Sapp specifically asked him, is AJ, first question in the interview was about AJ Styles. He didn't deny it, but he did say phenomenal a couple of times in the interview. And then there was a vignette that kind of alluded that he was going to be there. So I know, and it's like I know he's Raw, Monday Night Raw, which will be the next day. He's in Houston, so I know there's direct flights from New York to Houston. I'm sure WWE will probably have him on a private plane anyways. Plus NXT is going to be in Houston too, so it's like I can see them sending a private plane for all the NXT talent as well too. So that's probably part of the reason why he's going to be here is because hey, you know what? Might as well have him from Georgia to do this. But yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to do. It's going to be one of two things. He's either going to wrestle one more match at some point in TNA this year, or he's going to be announced that he's going to be inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame, which is really due for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, or last 2 years they have. Bound for Glory is their WrestleMania, and it's like I've always said that the Slammiversary was because it was their first one, but lately, just like AEW, the inaugural one's not there because pay-per-view anymore. They got a bigger one now because All In's now. That AEW's WrestleMania, even though Double Nothing probably was for until 2023. But yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be doing with AJ Styles. So, it's one thing with TNA. TNA I find a little bit harder to sometimes predict. Because some matches I think are somewhat easy to do, like the Iconics. We get straightforward. It makes sense. Like Mustafa Ali, I think. Well, I could be wrong, but that's almost straightforward too. But others maybe not, because you got other factors going into it, like the TNA NXT Women's / Knockouts Championships, or the Trick Williams and stuff. When you got WWE wrestlers, they want certain things out of that as well. So, but you have Doc State like winning 1 minute, and that's a but let's see what happens. But thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. If you have any comments, please say something if you have anything to say. But thank you for watching.